All right, shalom to Brother Kunah.
Shalom, Brother Kadash.
I'd like to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash. Back out here another week. The title of this one is going to be The Lord's Words Are Wise Words. Right? The Lord's words are wise words. And I say that because the Lord's words are instructions through life. It's like a life guide, right? And so that's what makes his words so wise, because it teaches you how to live your life, for one, righteous, right? And then it guides you through everything, like as far as like any type of situation that you go through. If you just consider the Lord's words in every situation that you go through, then you just can't fail, right? So the Lord's words is wise.
Right. Oh yeah. That's special too, because like a lot of times we get in situations and we want to react how we want to react. But
right,
like the brother said, if you just remember the Lord's words to do it that way, you're gonna be blameless pretty much. You're gonna be blameless. Like if some shit happen and I wanna go do this, but I feel like I'm better than this person because I've been in the truth or something like that, that could kind of get me off track. But if I just go off the way that the Lord said to handle it and put my pride aside, that's why we're supposed to be meek, right, then you're going to be blameless, you know? And it makes you a better judge when you judge your manners.
Exactly, yeah. And it just teaches you how to deal with any situation, right? As far as like, right, you go to the law, it teaches you how you're supposed to deal with your fellow brother or sister, yep, right? You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. So it's just, you get wisdom from the Lord's words.
Yep. Yep. And then even on a bigger scheme, like the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, which are the true Israelites, we're the Lord's true people, right? If we follow his words, his law, statutes, and commandments, right, then what did it say in Deuteronomy 28, right? If we follow his law, statutes, commandments, he'll bless us, right? We won't be under a nation, and our money won't have the face of the same people that took us in slavery and killed millions of our ancestors on it. So that lets you know who has control over you. You know, the Lord would take us from that, and he would take us out of captivity, which is prophecy. So even as a whole of Israel, you know, to be the wife of the Lord, you know, if we just follow the Lord's words, we done tried everything, right? But to follow the Lord's words, right?
Yeah, and just like he said, he quoted in the book of Deuteronomy, that same book, it teaches you that if you don't listen to his words, then what'll happen to us. And just like you said, if we do, in that same book, it tells you if we do listen to his words, what we'll get also.
Yeah, that's very important, because a lot of times we go to Deuteronomy 28 and we just start at verse 15,
right, and
say, if you don't keep his law, statutes, and commandments, this is what's going to happen to
exactly,
you. But if you start from verse 1, then there's a flip side on that. If you do follow his word, keep his law, statutes, commandments, these are the blessings that you will get.
Yep.
Very important. All right, I'm going to start off in Ephesians 4, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
Right there. Yeah, right. So we all are prisoners to Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. We all are prisoners to the Lord, because he is the creator, right? And he created us to do his will. Now, us being in these unholy bodies that we in, right? These corruptible bodies that we in, we think that we want to do our will. So we are kind of like, we kind of got that mind frame that the Lord should sympathize to what we want and let us live the way we want to live. Right, but that's not how it's supposed to go. So we're supposed to walk in the vocation of the Lord's ways, right? Do what he wants us to do. And that's where you get your wisdom from, and that's how you, like, and if we was to do that, then we wouldn't need help guiding ourselves through this life.
Right, I want to say two things on that, because that's powerful. First off, if we keep the law, statutes, commandments, it's going to benefit us anyways, right?
Yeah.
So you got 2 parts of that. The Lord is going to do for us, right? But even if we just kept the law, statutes, and commandments, it would benefit us anyways, because the way that the law, statutes, and commandments are set up. You know, first of all, it would bring us together, and when we come together, that's our power, that's our strength. And then especially when we come together with our Lord. You know what I mean? So And then second off, what I want to speak on is oh yeah, I seen a girl, she was on Facebook, right? And she was talking about you're not supposed to eat meat. And she was saying that it came from the Bible, that it was a sin to eat meat, right? But like you said, all she got to do is walk in the way of the Lord's words. So it was many people on this post trying to correct the sister. You know, they not coming at her disrespectful because she's a woman, she's a sister. So they coming in like, nah, sister, that's not right. They, you know, they quoting like, yeah, Yahweh Shai feed the multitude with fish and bread, right? He did. Fish is meat, right? And then she'll still be like, make up an excuse, so she just wasn't trying to have it, but she claimed and act like she's in the truth. And then we say, well, didn't Yahweh Shai eat of the Passover, right? And because he told the disciples, go get ready the Passover. They got ready the Passover, and he told the disciples, go make me a place, go get ready a place for us to keep the Passover, that I may eat of the Passover. And then he said why he was eating of the Passover, and why the disciples, it was eating with him. That meaning that he was eating of the Passover too. Now, it lists the Passover, but when it said they killed the Passover, they talking about the lamb. So they actually ate the lamb because the lamb represents the Passover. And if she would go to scriptures like he said, eat of my flesh and my blood, and he is the lamb, we'll say, yes, he is, but that's a parable, right? That's a metaphor, but they was actually eating lamb too. And we're commanded. And then she said, well, that's a fallen state, and the Lord gave us those commandments because the humans was in the fallen state. And then I asked her, I said, okay, so if that's the case, when our Lord, Yahweh Shai, walked the earth, it says that he was the lamb without blemish, meaning he was without sin, right? And then she said, yeah, he didn't sin. And I was like, okay, but he did eat meat. And then I showed her the precepts that showed that he ate meat. And I say, so how could you say it's a sin to eat meat, but you say that Yahweh Shai ate meat, but you say that he never sinned? Right. That didn't make no sense. It's confusion.
Exactly. Hey, and that's crazy because I went through a similar situation with another sister, and I made a video about it. And it's called, I think I called it, or I titled it, "It's Not Sinful to Eat Clean Meat," because that's what the sister, and I literally was going through the same thing, and I literally broke out the same scriptures to her, you know what I'm saying, about the Lord on the Passover, and the law in Leviticus, right, giving you a list of clean and unclean meat that we can eat. And so it's just all what we was talking about, how people want to live how they want to live, not according to the word, which the Bible says that the Lord said that we have a zeal, but not according to knowledge.
Yep.
Right? And now if we ain't got if we don't have knowledge according to the book and according to the law, then what we got knowledge according to? What we think is true. Yep. And that's not how we supposed to walk.
And that's in Romans chapter 1, you know, going after the lust of their own hearts. This is Romans 4 though. Verse 15 says, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. So if you can't show me a law that say you're not supposed to eat meat, that means there's no transgression for eating meat.
Right.
You know? So that's like a quick cut on her right there. But just to wrap it all the way back around, like the brother said, all she had to do is just follow the words like this of the Lord. But what's she doing? She going off her own heart, and she's believing in something that she can't prove by following the Bible. You can't prove that what she's saying is true. She can't prove, they don't say nowhere in the Bible, hey, the Lord gave man, the Israelites, these laws, statutes, commandments, because they was already in sin, but he really don't want them to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, technically, that he gave them. Really, he don't want them to eat meat, even though he told them, gave them a dietary law.
Yeah, and
that don't make no sense. Why would the Lord have to do that? Man, I really don't want them to eat meat.
But I'm going to let them because that's what they want to do right now. No. The Lord ain't never worked like that, man. And that's what we trying to get people to understand, that the Lord's words are why. Listen to him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Not what we want. And because he's not going to listen to us. You know what I'm saying? Because the creator is more than a creation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're supposed to follow him. You want me to go to 1 Corinthians?
Yeah.
All right. 1 Corinthians 9, verse 21. It says, to them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to God, but under the law to a Mashiach, that I may gain them that are without law.
Right. So the Lord is pretty much saying that his people are without law. Even though he gave us the law, we still don't live according to it. We still don't live according to the law, but his goal is to gain us, even though there's some that's trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, right? He know that not all is going to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, but that's his wishes is for us all to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's why we out here on the highways and byways, because these are not our words that we spitting, right? These are the Lord's words, and the reason why we spitting his words is because since Yahweh Shai, since before Yahweh Shai and during Yahweh Shai was on the scene, the Lord always been trying to get us to cleave unto him, right? But we never have, or we would for a certain period of time, then we would go off, right? So he wants to get us all wrapped up underneath his wing so we can start following the laws and never come from following the laws.
Yep, I mean, it's just that simple. And the Lord that's gonna happen, you know, but it's just all being planned out by the way that the Lord wants it to do, just like with Esau. He gonna get took down, but why ain't happening today or tomorrow? Because it's all going to the way of the Lord, you know, the plan of the Lord. So just like the brother said, we just gotta go off what the Lord say. We can't say, hey, come into this truth, you in it for 5 months, don't nothing really happen, now you fall out the truth, because things ain't happening fast enough to you. When you do that, you ain't following what the words say. It say no man know the day or time. So the way we look at it, hey, look.
Not even Yahweh Shai himself know when he's coming back.
So yeah, the way we look at it is, shit, we don't think that this is going to happen, but we look at it like, hey, we could be out here 20 years. If it takes us to be out here the next 20 years, we're going to be old and we're going to be out here 20 years later. If it takes 5 years, we hoping that it comes this year, you know. But hey, whenever the Lord say it is, that's what it is at the end of the day. So, you know, you got to come in, even when you coming into the truth, you got to come in with that mentality. Like, you just a servant for the Lord. And, you know, we are humans. So sometimes we all get big heads. It happens to every single one of us. We all get big heads at some point in time, but then you just keep going and keep growing, and then you will humble yourself again. You just say, man, I got to do what the Lord told me to do. Don't go off like the brother said. Don't go off my feelings. This is Matthew 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey.
Right. So the Lord gives us, right, talking to the Hebrew Israelites, right, the so-called Latinos, so-called Negroes, so-called Native American Indians, all of us, we got our own talents, right? So when you look at the 12 tribes chart in the Bible, it tells you what all of these nations are known for, like what's their strong suit, right? And so at the end of the day, we all supposed to do the will of the Lord, right? No matter what, we all supposed to be doing the will of the Lord according to what he gave us. So like the Levites, right? They were known in the Bible for being priests, right? And so that's what Haitians, so-called Haitians, or the Levites supposed to be doing, right? And that's wise, right? Because once they get into you know what I'm trying to say, I just can't think of it right now.
They lots, man.
Yeah, once they get into their lots, then that's where they shine at.
Yep.
Right? So when they get into their lots, they shine heavy in their lots. And it's the same way with us. And that's how that's how us as a collective, as a whole nation, that's how we supposed to be.
Yep. Facts. And we got to learn those things, you know, because it's very important, because, you know, you'll have Issachar trying to take Judah's spot. That ain't going to work. But what did the Lord say? Lord, roughly paraphrasing, in the Bible, he said, you know, the other tribes should not envy Judah no more. You know, but you will have them out here acting like they Judah. You will have Judah out here acting like they Levi. Levi got their thing to do, you know. Judah, we got our thing to do, you know. Right. And that's how the Lord set up the pieces.
Yeah, and that's our strong suits, right? That's what I was trying to get out. Them are strong suits. So if we walk it in the Lord's ways and following his words, then we'll know what we're supposed to be doing, and then now as a collective we'll come together and we'll be strong. Right? But everybody, it's an unbalance, ain't nobody in order, right? And that's why it's a lawless, like the nation of Israel is so lawless. because we're not following the law according to the word.
Yep, and then when you think about it, when you go to Revelations 21, verse 12, it says it's 12 gates, right? So that's letting you know right there, Judah gonna go through the gate that says Judah. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The Lord didn't say hey, it's just one gate, and the Israelites, as long as you reported 12 tribes, you just go through the gate.
Yeah.
No, he separated. This is Judah's gate. This is Levi's gate. Levi, why are you trying to go through Judah's gate? You got to go through Levi's gate. That's why I said it was an angel above each gate, guarding the gate, pretty much, you know? Pretty much standing guard on the gate. To do what? To make sure Judah go through Judah gate, make sure Levi go through Levi gate. You know, just, you know, an example, pretty much.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, we are supposed to be following the Lord's ways, right? And following these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's where it started at. It started there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to give us our understanding. You know what I'm saying? With how to deal with everything. So we got to start with following the laws, statutes, and commandments, which is what the Lord instructed us to do. And, you know, that's where we get our wisdom from.
Back in Matthew 25, verse 19. And after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I gained beside them 5 talents more.
Exactly.
His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy land. That's powerful.
Yeah, so that's when we see what'll happen if we come into the Lord's words and listen to the Lord's words, right? He'll give us wisdom beyond a reasonable amount, right? And then he'll add unto that. I mean, the same thing what happened to King Solomon, right? He had the Lord's wisdom, right? The Lord pretty much gave him his wisdom, right? On a certain level. And that's why he was so wise and he was so powerful. You know what I mean? And that's what will come to us if we would just take these words of wisdom and apply them to our life.
Yep. We don't have nothing right now. We forsaken all things to follow the Lord. But, you know, he said he'd make us ruler over many things. So it seems like we small, we ain't got shit right now. But if you follow the Lord in the kingdom and being a ruler over something, just imagine you was the ruler over Springfield, Illinois. You was the ruler. This all
you was the king.
And this is nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just imagine in the kingdom.
This would just be like one of the things you would be ruler over just for following the Lord's words. I mean, just look at the so-called small hats, right? They even though they not the people, they follow the laws, right? They live by the book, and look where it's done got them.
They still wicked, but they live. Yeah. They into it more than we are,
right?
Because we done been totally, you know,
discontinued from our heritage.
Exactly. So they still wicked as fuck.
They definitely wicked.
All the way around, pretty much in every way. But at least they observe it. Yeah. I would say they observe the Bible. I would say they follow it, but they observe it. You see what I'm saying?
But you see by them even doing that. You see by them doing that, what it's done gotten them.
They the rulers of Hollywood.
You feel me?
You know how rich Hollywood, that's one of the most richest places on earth.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
And most of them own the football team, the basketball team, all of that shit. So they got power over many things.
Influence.
Yeah, and influence.
Your news channels, who you think own that shit? YouTube? Who you think own that? You know? So, I want to get that next verse too, though. No, I'll get the next one. It says, his Lord said it to him, verse 22. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou delivered me and to me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. And the point with that is, like, you see the first one, he gave 5 talents. So you can't really judge a brother like us. We in a small city, small town, so we ain't got 10 brothers up here, right? But if you in a big city, big town, you might have 10, 20 brothers at your camp. That's the talents that the Lord gave you. So you gonna get your gift if it's righteously, you know, rightfully deserved for you, you know? And then us, you know, we in a small town, it ain't meant for us to have that many talents. You know, our talents might be, hey, look, I gave y'all 1 talent. I just gave y'all 1 talent, I gave y'all 2 talents. And as long as, like they said, let me see, As long as this happens, verse 23, and his Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the land. So for the guy that had 2 talents, that received 2 talents, and the guy that had 5 talents and received 5 talents, it was the same reward.
Exactly.
They were made ruler over many things, and they enter into the joy of the land.
Because they was faithful to what the word, to the words of the Lord.
Yep.
Right, and that's what we get, and that's why a lot of people don't understand the benefits that come behind just trying to live like according to the law, statutes, and commandments. Right, people just think that the Lord, like, you got a lot of small carnal mind people just think that, oh yeah, I mean, even if it was that, and so what? But the Lord is not asking us to do something for no reason, right? He chose us, right, to be a special people, and he wants us to shine, right? But I mean, it's just like your kids. You don't just reward your kids with good things for nothing, right? They got to do chores or something around the house in order for them to get their allowance, right? Right. And it's the same thing with us from the Lord, right? We're gonna be the nation of kings and priests, right? But we got to start with following the law, statutes, and commandments.
And the Lord got us doing what he want us to do, how he want us to do it. So we understand that, you know? So we ain't trying to do, you know, we trying to get the biggest congregation. It ain't about that, man. We doing what the Lord told us to do and how the Lord wants to do. If he want more people to come up here, he gonna have more people come up here. I had an op told me, he said, who have you reached? I said, it ain't really about that, op. I mean, we got a decent little channel and stuff. Really, the main channel is really like both of our channels, because both of our stuff go on there, and then Cuz got him a channel and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I mean, but it really ain't about that, you know? We done talked to, y'all see the videos, we done talked to many people up here, you know? But it really ain't about that at the end of the day. You know, he was like, who have you reached or whatever. I'm like, I would reach you if you would fucking follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. You know what I mean?
And then we're not even gonna know who are we reach, right? But we do know we got a consistent amount of people that watch our videos every time we put something up. So I mean, we don't know who they is, so somebody gotta be learning something.
Now when you compare that to the brothers that's getting the thousands of views on videos, that's the same parable. They got the 5 talents, but just because you got the 5 talents, you can't shit on the dude. Because, yeah, from your perspective, I got double as many talents as you. I got 3 times as much talents as you. I got more talents than you, only got 2 talents. That ain't shit. But you can't look at it that way. That's just what the Lord gave that man. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what it was the same reward for both of them.
Why is that, though? Because they both was doing the work. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord gave them 5 talents because he chose to give them 5 talents.
Because they could handle it, or they was in a city, you know, comparing it to today, maybe they was in a bigger city, maybe they can handle it, maybe, you know, that's just what the Lord wanted them to do, you know? The Lord got us where he got us at. Proverbs 16 from the front.
Yeah.
Proverbs 16 verse 1. The preparations of the heart and man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits.
Right, so it's not up to you to judge what you feel about certain situations, right? It's the Lord. You're supposed to walk in the ways of the Lord, right? Because there's literally nothing in the Bible that you can't find regarding life, right? So now when you consider that, no matter what situation you go through, you can find a certain situation about it in the Bible and letting you know how to deal with it. And if you deal with it according to the Lord, then you will always come out on top. Now, there's also situations in the Bible about certain situations in life that you might go to, and you got examples of people following their own ways and going at it about their own mind, right? And they always on the bottom end of the stick, right? And that's why, because the Lord's words will give you wisdom on how to deal with every situation you encounter.
Very important. Verse 3, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established.
So commit yourself to the Lord, and thy thoughts should be established, and you ain't gonna have to worry about nothing, right?
Psalms 119 verse 56.
Yeah, yep, through 60.
Okay. This I have because I kept thy precepts. Thou art my portion, O Lord. I have said that I would keep thy word. I entreated thy favor with my whole heart. Be merciful unto me according to thy word. I thought on my ways and turned my feet into thy testimonies. I made haste and deploy not to keep my commandments.
To keep thy commandments, right? So he pretty much saying like he know, right? He know the wisdom that he gained from keeping the Lord's commandments, and he didn't go after his own way about things, right? So that's the benefit of it, right? And that's King David letting us know that that's what we should be doing. It's following after the Lord's way. Oh yeah, don't hit that 25. Just go to somebody
33. You don't hit that 32.
Which one? No, Sirach 33. I got 32 on there. On yours?
Nah, you got 33. Let's see. It's verse 2. This is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach.
Same thing.
Yep. 33, right? Verse 2. It says, a wise man hateth not the law, but he that is a hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm.
Yes. So a wise man hateth not the law because he gonna understand the benefit of it, right? But he that is a hypocrite ain't gonna really want to go off what the law say because they want to please themselves. So they want to continue to eat the pork. They want to continue to eat the shrimp.
They had ticking time bomb.
Ticking time bomb. You don't even know what that shit really doing to your insides, right? It's all types of parasites and shit all in that shit. Why is that? Because they are bottom feeders. They were made to clean the filth from the earth. That's why they made. So they can't be healthy. And
You can't.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. You can't just follow your own heart. Just like back to the whole not eating meat whole thing. The Lord gave us a dietary law and said we can eat meat for a reason. It's probably beneficial to a human to eat meat. When you go off your own heart, start making up all this shit. No, it's not beneficial to eat meat. I'm not gonna eat meat. I'ma just eat plants and stuff like that. That could put things out of balance. The Lord gave us a balance. You go eat all the plants. Now you eating all the plants from the animals. Now the animals, you got to keep populations of animals in control. If nobody's eating them and eating these animals, right, their populations are going to grow out of control, which means that predators are going to grow out of control because they're going to have so much meat. So there's a balance to everything. If you just follow the words of the Lord and do it the way that the Lord said it, then you will be good. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And then you understand why things the way it is. It all makes sense to you.
It all makes sense. Exactly. But then these guys, they go off their own heart and they say, well, I ain't eating it because
they foolish.
Because of this and because of that. Well, the Lord gave it to us for a reason. You got to just put your faith in the Lord, man. But then at the end, you will see why. You will see why, because in the kingdom, it says on Zechariah 14 that, all the families of the earth will keep the Feast of Tabernacles, and during those feasts, there was meat, so would we be eating meat in the kingdom? Yeah. Which one was it?
5.
Ecclesiasticus.
Yeah, verse 4.
5. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3.
No, chapter 5.
Chapter 5?
Yeah. Verse 4.
Okay. Oh, my shit just didn't go. Alright, Ecclesiasticus chapter 5. You said verse 4, right?
Yeah.
Verse 4. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm has happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering, he will no wise let thee go. That's
yeah. Don't. In other words, don't tempt the Lord. That wouldn't be very wise of you, right? Just like it said, the Lord is long suffering. You might say. Because you got people that do that all the time, right? That tempt the Lord and don't see immediate consequences about it, right? But then later on down in life, they fucking. Or the doctor tell them they got 6 months to live and they only in their mid-30s because they got cancer, right? Just using an example, right? So it's not good to not listen.
Yep.
Listen to the words of the Lord to the best of your abilities, and you're going to get knowledge, right? You're going to have knowledge, good knowledge about how to deal with certain situations, and you can seek, not seek, but you can possibly inherit salvation.
And the Lord long suffering. We see it happen a lot of time with people we grew up with, They be in the streets, and what do? You tell them, like, man, don't do that. man, it's a setup. You're gonna get caught. You're gonna be back in jail. And what they say, they go off their own. No, I'm good. I was good. I've been doing this for the last month, 2 months. Ain't nothing happened. I'm good. Ain't nothing gonna happen, right? But the Lord long suffering. You try to warn them. You try to rebuke them. You try to, damn near like, correct them, And you try to say, no, don't go that way, bro. Go this way. But what do they always say? No, I'm good. I'm good. I got this. I know what I'm doing. And the Lord long suffering, you could be doing the same shit for 6 months, think you good. We had examples where you could be doing the same shit for years. He been doing this his whole life, think he was good, then boom, cop.
I had a brother call me not too long ago and asked me can he borrow $50, right? And I asked him why, because money tight nowadays, so you can't just be giving money out.
Yeah.
So I asked him why, and he told me, well, I've been scamming and such and such, right, just to get, like, long story short. And I told him, I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna give you $50 to and help you sin, right? Because scamming is pretty much thievery, right? And so if I gave him $50 to go set whatever he was gonna go set up to scam, then I'm telling him it's okay for him to sin, right? And that's how we gotta. And now where I get that logic from the laws. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we give all praises to the Most High for giving it to me, but now I gave that to him, so hopefully it can alter his mind to come out of that and look at it like, all right, damn, fuck it, I ain't even gonna go into that whole situation. Then I'm gonna try to find another route. But 9 times out of 10 chance that probably ain't what's gonna happen, but hopefully it do. And that's where we get our wisdom from. We get it from the Lord, man.
I had a person that asked me to buy them some cigarettes or something like that. And I was like, come on, man. They already knew that I was gonna say no, but I ain't finna help you because any cigarette could be your last one. You know what I mean? Now if I went and bought these cigarettes for you, dropped these cigarettes off to you, you smoke on this cigarette and this happened to be your last one, how the fuck I'm gonna feel? Especially if you somebody close to me. I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna be like, damn. So like the brother said, I ain't finna help you sin. Don't ask me to buy you no cigarettes. Now if you out on a date with a girl, you just met her, y'all sit down, you gonna pay for the food. She ordered the food, so it's a little bit different because she's ordering it, right? But you do what the hell you wanna do. If you ain't feeling that, you can tell her, look, I ain't finna pay for that shit. And you won't be wrong.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a transition for her, and everything. So you might pay for it, but you ain't ordering. Like if there's a difference if she said, hey, can you order this for me? You might say, nah, you can order what you want. But that shit ain't coming back on me, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'll pay for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, person asked me, said, go to the store, stop by the store and grab them some cigarettes. I'm like, man, are you crazy? They like, yeah, I know you wasn't gonna do it. I'm like, exactly. Why you
just tried to try me, man. What y'all be on? Why y'all always be trying to test us? They be on madness. They be trying to see how solid we is, like if we for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. They always do that.
Yep. But I know the Lord long suffering. Like I said, I could get you this pack, and this could be your last pack, and I'm gonna feel bad too. You see what I'm saying? So you just never know, or you could get sentenced from that pack 6 months later. You don't even know that pack that you did. You could quit after that last pack. And then your symptoms pick up. Because the Lord's long suffering.
It's too late already. The cancer done spread it all through your body now.
Yep. And you don't find out till 6 months later.
Yeah.
The Lord was long suffering with you, man. But he still got you. And that's scary.
Yeah.
That's why it says you're supposed to fear in the Lord. That can happen to any one of us with anything, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know when the Lord finna come get you.
And just like it said in the scriptures, who can deliver you out of his hands? You know what I'm saying? Whatever he got planned for you, whether it be good, it's gonna happen. You can't nobody alter it, can't nobody come in and cut it, stop it up. No, you can't be delivered out of the Lord's hands.
Yep. You could be a rapper, you could be getting on, your career blowing up, you at the height of your career, all the wicked shit you did in the street before you blew up, you like, I'm good now, man. Look, the Lord blessing me. Nope. I'm getting this money, I'm blessing me, and then next thing you know, you hear this rapper just got shot down. Man.
Look at Big Scar. He was 22 years old.
Yep. He was gone, his career was taken off.
Yep.
All that shit he was doing in the streets came back. Lord took him off.
Long suffering. Yeah, but he overdosed though. Right? He was taking drugs. He overdosed off Percocets.
Yep. The Lord took him
off. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of his people probably don't tell him like, man, you tripping off the Percocets. You need to calm that shit down, but he wasn't trying to hear it. That's really the Lord speaking through people telling, like, man, stop, man, you destroying yourself. You know what I'm saying? But people don't want to hear that. And they keep going. The Lord like, all right, fuck it. It's over. I'm just going to take them out.
Yep.
And that's just really what it is. It's time. You know what I'm saying? When you, just like, when you read, I think it's, 2 Kings, chapter 18, right? When the Lord was trying to figure out what to do with that, who was the king name? 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 18, when he was trying to destroy, he was having a conversation with the evil angels about this king. I forget what the king name was, and he was trying to figure out how he should destroy him. It's time, right? And that's how it be. You know what I mean? The Lord, after so long, now he just got to destroy you. You ain't been listening. You ain't been listening. None of the signs all throughout the months, the weeks, the years leading up to your death. You feel me? The Lord been trying to show you, but you was never minding them until you just like, all right, fuck it. I can't get through to him. Cut them off.
That happened a couple times too with these different kings. They'd be wicked because it said some kings was evil, and the Lord pretty much it show you how the Lord set them up to get killed. Right. You said verse 18.
Yeah.
2 Kings 18 verse 18. It says, and when they had called the king, there came out to Achalam the son of Hekiah, which was over the household of Shabina and scribe, and Joah the son of Asper recorded. You don't think that's it?
No, it might be 1 Kings.
Let me see. If I can find it. 2 Kings 8, 26. Let me see. Because I got an example that's just like that carry us home. Alright, this is 2 Kings 8. Let me see if I can find it. This is talking about Uzziah, right, and the kings and stuff like that. When he began to reign, on 2 Kings 9, going over, I'm finding it. Bear with us. Sometimes you gotta find them. Sometimes you gotta search, especially when you get in Kings and Chronicles.
Yeah.
You gotta go in there and find them, right? I'm gonna get a little context right here. 2 Kings 9, right? Verse 8. For the whole house of Ahab should perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall. So the Lord said he gonna cut them off. The Lord had a hit out on them, right? And it was being prophesied. And him that is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. And the dogs should eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, right? And there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. So the Lord already knew this was going to happen. So when it happened, that means that the Lord put it together to happen. Right. And it says, then Jehu came forth to the service of the Lord, and one said unto him, is it well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, ye know the man and his communication. And they said, it is false. Tell us now. And he said, thus spake he to me, saying, thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hasted and took every man his garment and put under him on top of the stairs and blew the trumpet, saying, Jehu is king, right? Let me keep going down because I want to get straight to the point. Right, verse 16. And Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram lay there, and Elijah, king of Judah, was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on a tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came and said, I see a company, and Joram said, take a horse and send to meet them and let him say it is peace, right? Let me see. I'm going to get straight to the point. So this is about Joram, right, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, coming together, right? And then you're going to see what's going to happen. Joram said, make ready, and his chariot was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot, and they went out against Johah, and met him in the portion of Naboth and Jezreelite. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu that he said, it is peace, Jehu. And he answered, what peace? So long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcraft are so many. And Joram turned his hand and fled and said to Ahaziah, there is treachery, right? O Ahaziah. And Jehu drew a bow with its full strength and smote Jehoram between his arm, and the arrow went out of his heart, and he sunk down in a chariot. It's going to get to the point. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, take up and cast him in a portion of the field of the Naboth, the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, and the Lord laid this burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his son, say the Lord, and I will require thee in this plot, say the Lord. Now therefore take and cast them into the plot of ground according to the word of the Lord, right? Let me see. I'm just going to jump around. I want to get straight to the point. But in this next verse, and Ahaziah the king of Judah saw this, and he fled by the way of the garden house, and Jehu followed him and said, smite him also in his chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gahal, which is by Abim, and they fled into Medigo and died there. His servants carried him, so he died and everything. And then so the point is, it's just the point. It's just a story of how the Lord had a hit out on them, right. And then how it was carried through. But it was prophesied before it happened, so you know that the Lord put it together.
Right. And it's still going into the fact that the Lord gives you so many signs for you to try to get right before he eventually take you out. So I found that precept. It's 1 Kings 22, and I'm gonna start at verse 19, and it says, and he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. So you got the righteous spirits and you got the evil spirits, but they all are gathered around the Lord Yahweh as he sit on the throne, right? Hold on.
Some of them you got to fish out. You got to go find them. Right. What it is.
And it says, and the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead, right? Because I guess they was finna go into war, right? But Ahab was the king, so he was the leader, right? And so instead of the Lord giving them the power to go to war with the other nation and win, he wanted to give them the power to go to the nation to lose, because Ahab was wicked, right, in the sight of the Lord. And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. So you got the angels, right, that's all gathered around the Lord, and they all spewing out ideas like, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, right? Verse 21, and there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? So he told him, like, okay, how you gonna persuade him? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lion spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So pretty much right, let me keep going. And I'll be a lion's mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also, go forth and do so. Right? So after the point we was trying to make is that after so long, the Lord gonna get tired of playing with you. Right? And he just gonna go ahead and just get you out the way. Right? Because you in the way. And that's what the same situation was with that King Ahab, right? Because you got to know that the Lord kind of had favor with him, because he appointed him king, right? He appointed him king. You know what I mean? So you just gotta know that the Lord is not playing with us, and going against his word is only gonna get you destruction, or his ways or what he's saying is only gonna get you destruction, just like in the book of what is that, Samuel, King Saul, right? When he went against what the word, when he went against what the Lord said, it destroyed him. Right? So we gotta know where we get our wisdom from.
He was commanded to do something, right? And he didn't do it because he, like the brother said, he went off his own heart. He did what he wanted to do. The Lord commanded him to kill everything, pretty much. You know, but he didn't do that. He took captives, right? And the Lord didn't like that. And just because of that, that was it. Then you got the house of Saul and the house of King David, and then King Saul was killed and his sons was killed, and man, that's grievous, you know, because his sons was killed too. You know what I mean? So it's like, it might not just the Lord hit you. You know what I mean? He hit people around you, but whoever perished being innocent, those people wasn't innocent either. You know what I mean? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 19. It says, "Coming to her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits, for thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon."
Right. Now, who is that her? That her is the wisdom of the Lord, right? All throughout the Bible, the Lord calls, all throughout the Bible, when the Lord is speaking about wisdom, he's speaking about her in the manner of a woman, right? Because the wisdom of the Lord is beautiful, right? And it's going to help us in so many ways, right? And that's what we got to understand, man. We just got to understand that, because we can't walk after our own way. I mean, just look at mankind as it is today. These are all, the reason why mankind is the way it is today is because mankind was going after their own lust, after their own wants, and what they felt like the world should be and how it should be ran. And now we just got a big-ass clusterfuck.
This is Proverbs 13, starting at verse 20. "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of a fool should be destroyed. Evil pursuers sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid."
Exactly. So can two be joined together lest they be agreed? So if you walking with a foolish person, then you're gonna be counted as a fool, right? But if you walking with a wise person and listening after the words of a wise person, right? Speaking of the Lord, right? Then you're gonna be counted as wise, right? You gotta know that.
So if you in our city, get out here, man. You know, you walking around with the guys in the hood all day. I just seen it so many times, man. I just seen boys I grew up with. They was never a part of no gang. You know what I mean? But they cousins is in the gang, or they start hanging around with this certain gang, and they start hanging around with all the gang members, and the next thing you know, they in the gang. Or they end up getting caught up in some shit with the gang. But I'm not in the gang, but you hang around them. You do everything with them. You party with them. You, oh, that was had to be, yeah, so never a part of no gang, you know what I mean? But you hang around with these gang members, you kicking it with them, you go, and the same thing for the woman. You know, you have a woman, she just a woman, but she love these drug dealing dudes, she love these gang members. How many examples have we seen a woman get shot to death because she was in the car with her man and his ops pulled up and caught him lacking, shot up the car, and she got killed. And he barely made it, or they both got killed together. Because look, she wanted to be with that man. She wanted to chase the bad boy, but the shit ended up catching up to her, and she lost her life. How many times we see these girls get with these dudes that be dealing drugs and shit? The next thing you know, the girl gets hooked off the drugs, and she end up overdosing.
Facts. I mean, shit. And even shit like a lot of people that you grew up with, right? You started off hanging, like I remember when we was going to school, we used to hang around a lot of cats that we went to school with. You know what I'm saying? And as we got older, you know, we grew apart, and now people doing their own thing, right? You see a lot of people that you went to school with now that look like they on drugs and shit. You know what I'm saying? But back in school, they was one of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? They was one of them. They had all the fine female. You fit popular, but now you see them. They look bad. You know what I'm saying? That's because they start walking after foolish ways, doing foolish things.
Yep. And that's why me and the brother cleaved to each other, because, you know, we was in this walk, and then the brother came into the truth. He said, man, I'm fucked with cuz.
Right.
And things change, you know. So, like I said, you don't really want to walk with fools out there, because if he decided to walk with the fools out there, he fuck around and be doing what they were doing, or be in the position they was in. Right. So he seen cuz, he like, oh, cuz doing this, cuz out the way. Let me fuck with cuz, and then he got out the way too, and it benefited him a lot to do it, you know.
Hell yeah, so, because it just seemed like the right thing to do, because it's positive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In this negative world, you know what I'm saying? Just being, I mean, like, it gives you your sanity. Yeah. It do, man. This is an escape, like from the worldly things and the worldly adversities that we go through. I mean, I only knew, like, once I seen cuz, and I was doing all types of shit. I ain't even gonna lie. I was in the streets. I was selling drugs. I was, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, toting guns around. I thought I was, like, I wanted to live that life. But I always knew that the Bible, what type of book it was, even though I never was into the Bible like that. Even though I grew up as a Christian, my grandmother was a Christian. She tried to take us to the church and stuff like that. I never really cleaved to it. But then once I seen cuz into it, you know what I'm saying? And getting to understand, like, how he was breaking stuff down, then I'm like, oh, okay. And then, you know,
one thing led to another. He came in, he grew. And that's just what it is. And now he hoping for salvation the same way I'm hoping for salvation. That's just what it is. That's how it works, you know. I mean, it's just, you got to be, you know, careful out here. You know, we done seen it plenty of times, man. People go off. It just depends on who you around and stuff like that, because there's temptation.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, well,
my bad, go ahead.
Yeah, it's temptation, just like with the MOTB. When the MOTB comes out here and everybody get to taking it, if you hanging around people that got the MOTB all day, that's gonna tempt you to go take it. Right. You know, they all got it. They all got these different functions. They open they house door by just scanning their hand. They turn it on their car by just scanning their hand. They can go to here, go here. You can't. You ain't allowed there, because we only taking the C-hip. You ain't got one, but they can go in, and these your friends, you kicking it with them all day, and they like, man, we finna go down to this club, man. There's finna be a lot of women down there who at the band. That temptation gonna constantly hit you every day. Every day. And they gonna be, man, come on, man, go ahead and get that shit, bro, so you can come kick it with your boys. Right. And one day, you gonna fold. That's temptation. One day, you gonna, man, fuck it. You gonna go down to the little C-hip station, you gonna get it, and you gonna come back to the boys. We in that bitch tonight. They gonna, you got it? I got that motherfucker. We in it. You see what I'm saying? So that's that temptation. You gotta watch who you be around. If you hanging out with man of the Lord all day, then you gonna do man of the Lord type stuff. You know, you gonna be like, no, fuck that C-hip. I ain't taking it. You see what I'm saying? So it's important.
This is the last one. Say John.
Yeah, I got it. This is John chapter, what was that, 15? Yeah. 15, starting at verse 20.
22.
22. It says, if I had not come and spoken it to them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sins.
Exactly. Right? So the reason why we out here, the brothers out here, trying to encourage people and letting us know that the Lord's words are wise, because really what you're doing, if you live it any other way than according to the Bible, then you just pretty much walking in destruction. Right? You the walking dead.
You
right?
a zombie.
You a zombie. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why it's brothers out here all over the United States right now is because we are in sin. If we wasn't in sin, just like the brother said last week, if we wasn't in sin, then the Lord would have to come back. If this was a righteous place, the Lord would have to. If we was a righteous people, we'd already be in our kingdom. Yep. We not a righteous people, so as a whole, we got to come back into the ways of the Lord, follow his law, statutes, and commandments, so that we can be praised how we supposed to be, right? And be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, right, in the kingdom. But without that, we not going to get that. So with that being said, man, hopefully this was an edifying video. We're going to end it off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash, Shalom.
Boy, my ankles.